Hey guys, welcome back to another video with Old Florida. My name is Mike. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to splice your backing to your fly line. This is going to give you one of the smoothest connections you could possibly get. It's extremely durable. Without further ado, let's jump onto the tabletop. Alright, so jumping onto the tabletop, I want to keep this as simple for you guys as possible because I want everyone to do this and try it. It's very easy to do and I don't want to overcomplicate it. I'm going to run through everything I have on this table and just kind of give you a very brief overview, and then we'll jump into actually doing it, and you'll be able to see why we need and why we're using the stuff that we're doing. The first thing you're going to actually need is some sort of thin diameter real braid or Spectra fishing line. So this is braided 10 pound, 0.006 in diameter. 6 pound, 8 pound, 10 pound will work. The thinner the better. This is very strong stuff. So this is what I choose. This is what I do mine with, and it works out really, really well. Next up, we have our backing. So most of the time, a lot of people want to splice gel spun. You can't splice gel spun. Gel spun is a woven Spectra. So similar to that Yozuri Super Braid that I had in my hand, this stuff, Micron or Dacron, is spliceable as well. This is not Spectra fishing line. This is hollow core. So it's basically woven, but the whole internal of it is hollow, which is going to be able to let us create that Chinese finger trap effect. So we definitely need some of that. We're going to be splicing 30 pound. This needle right here, 100 to 130, is perfect for 10, 11, and 12 weight lines with some slight exceptions. The heavier airflow lines and 12 weight will not be able to splice with this. So I have, this is 11 weight Grand Slam Scientific Anglers, Amplitude Smooth Grand Slam 11 weight. We're going to be splicing this onto our 30 pound backing. This video is only going to be for 30 pound. I will have a video coming out for 20 pound, but I have UV Knot Sense. This stuff is going to help big time in making a smoother connection, an easier connection, and a more durable connection. But UV Knot Sense, a light to cure the UV Knot Sense, a pair of scissors, and then, like I said, we have our rigging needle. If you take a look at this needle, it's probably going to be very hard to see, but that is hollow in there. And then we have a nice tip, a pointy tip right there to go into our splice. So these are just a couple things that you need / want to splice. It's very simple. So let's jump on to actually showing you. All right, so for the splicing, I want to show you just how easy this actually is. The first thing we're going to do is take our rigging needle, and with the hollow side, the non-point side, we're going to take our fly line. This is the back of the fly line. This is the running line. I'm going to load that into the hollow side of the needle. So I have fly line going all the way up to this tip. I'm going to take my Micron or Dacron or my hollow core. I'm going to poke that right up into the tip of that, going inside of that backing. I'm going to feed it all the way up onto that needle. Just making sure not to catch any of the sidewall fibers. I want to make sure I'm in the middle. That's why this needle makes it really, really nice. Without the needle, it could get a little bit tedious, takes a lot longer. The needle just makes it slip through really easy. So I'm going to push all this backing around 15 inches or so. If you could see kind of the technique I'm using, as I push it with my left hand, I'm feeding that line back with my right fingers, all the way, loading it all the way scrunched up on the needle. So you can see all this in here, it's kind of just scrunched up. So once I have that done, around 15 inches or so, it's going to be a little bit hard to measure the first couple times. I'm going to poke this needle out the side. It's very important when you poke this needle out the side like this, that you're going through one of the main diamonds and not just one of the interior fibers. I'm going to pull this out while pinching. So pull the needle out while pinching. And now I have all of this backing right here encased in the fly line. And I have this little bit of a tag end sticking out. So kind of measure that little tag end, whatever, say you got 2.5, 3 inches. I'm going to come from the front of the backing. I'm going to pull about 3 or so inches out. I'm going to pinch that. I'm going to work my fingers all the way back up until I cover the fly line. So I still got whatever, maybe 1/8 of an inch or a little bit. I'm gonna pull that up, make sure that pops all the way through. So once I have that all the way through, this connection right here, this is about, I don't know, 15, 16 inches. This connection is enough to hold that fly line and backing really tight and durable back in. The problem is, if this runs out your guides going this way, this backing piece right here will hit and everything will just slide out effortlessly, which we do not want. So we need a way to prevent that, and that's where our spectra or our braid comes in. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is just take my scissors and, to the best of my abilities, just kind of trim this a little bit more flush and a little bit smaller. You could actually do this after, but I'm going to do that again coming up here in a sec. I'm going to take my spectra fishing line. I'm going to grab about, I don't know, maybe a 15-inch piece or so. Cut that off. And now I'm going to tie just a uni knot. That's all it is. It's very simple. So I'm going to lay my spectra in line with my backing. I'm going to come from over the top and make a big loop. Once I have that loop, I got my tag end going up, loops around. All I'm going to do is wrap this tag end around my backing through that big loop around 15 or so times. Just going to create a nice uni knot. Once I got that wrapped to the best of my ability, nice and tight, I'm going to pinch that knot. I'm going to pull the tag end to my backing and just kind of seat it a little bit. I don't want to cinch this down all the way yet. Once I have it just semi-cinched down and making sure it's in the right spot as far as all the wraps go, making sure it looks good and it looks like it's going to hold, then I can come in here again and trim all these little fibers, all the fray flyaways. I can trim these out just a little bit, as tight as possible. They don't have to be perfect by any means. Once I have that done, I'm going to push my knot. I didn't cinch this down all the way. I'm going to push my knot all the way up to cover just those fibers at the end. Now I'm going to take this off camera 1 sec and I'm just going to tighten this knot just because it's very hard to do on the camera. So going back over here, the best way to cut this is actually holding this and pushing the scissors in. It's very hard to do with the camera in front of me, so I'm going to do it off screen for 1 sec. This one might be a little easier because I have a larger tag. But all I'm going to do is hold this tag out, make a V with my scissors, and kind of push into that knot. That was much easier to do on that one, just because I had the tag. So any kind of little fray or fly away, I'm just going to try to trim that out best I can. I really don't want any material sticking out, because on the next step, that glue, that's what's really going to hold everything and make a really nice smooth transition. So I'm just going to inspect that knot, make sure it looks really clean. Although I do have this little tag end here, and it's going to be really hard to trim out because it's spectra, I'm going to try to get that out. Alright, so I got that out to the best of my ability, and now I'm going to come in here with my UV Knot Sense. I'm going to take a healthy-ish little dot. I'm going to coat that knot in front of and behind, making a little ramp. So put a little dot, cap that off, get my UV light ready. I'm going to hold the backing and the fly line. I'm going to take my finger and kind of just hold it a little bit away from that knot, making a little speed ramp right on that knot. So we get a very, very smooth transition, almost like that knot is not even there. Just kind of holding my finger away and using that tension of the glue. I'm going to rotate this just 1 sec in my hand, just trying to get it to where it forms a very smooth little knot. You can kind of see by rotating it, it's going to kind of cover that hook. I might have wiped a little bit too much off, so I'm going to go back in here. The smoother you can get this, the smoother that this transition is going to be, obviously. So I want to take my time, make sure I get this totally a very nice little bubble. Perfect. Come in here, hit that with our UV light. This infinity light makes really quick work of this UV Knot Sense. This UV Knot Sense is extremely strong, very durable going through the guides. There's zero chip out, zero breaking. Obviously it's a glue, so it's not going to hold on forever. I do check this knot every periodically. I've had zero issues with it. I've pulled on plenty of big fish. It's very durable. I've had zero issues, like I said. I am totally confident in fishing this knot, and I hope after you guys try it, you will be too. Once that's cured, that is the done splice. It really is that easy. I have about 15 inches or so, maybe 13 of this splice in here. So from my left finger, all of that is encased inside of that Dacron Micron, and then going up to that little knot, and that's the only piece you get going through, and you do not even feel that little knot going through. This is just an awesome way to do it. I hope you guys give it a try. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I know it's a little bit of a different thing to do, and there's not too much information as far as sizes of needles and splicing and poundage and all that stuff, but I do know quite a bit about it. If you do want to give me a shout, I have no problem answering any questions you have. Leave them down below. If you guys stuck around this far, I just want to say thank you very much. We appreciate you watching the video. We hope you learned a little bit. And as always, we hope to see you guys out on the water.